Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I rise on a matter of personal and collective privilege to express my sincere jubilation of the recent pronouncement of the acting mayor with respect to the continuation of the CCMC construction. I am humbled with a gesture since the acting mayor, Raymond Alvin Garcia, I too was deeply involved in the conceptualization of the hospital. In fact, the Piso Mo Hospital Co initiative was partly patterned from the Piso Mo Eskwelahan Co during my stint as barangay captain of Lahug, when we were looking for funds to build 2 school buildings situated in Lahug Elementary School. Mr. Chair, allow me to refresh our minds to some of the salient events of the CCMC construction. The construction began in 2015, a year after the old CCMC building was ordered demolished by then Mayor Rama after the 7.2 magnitude earthquake that hit the region in 2013. The 600 million first phase of the CCMC was awarded to Manila-based contractor CE Padilla, who gave the lowest bid of 514.97 million for the first phase, which covers the foundation, structural frames, and 10 floors of the building within 1 year and 9 months to complete the first phase of the project. In 2016, Cebu City Acting Mayor Margot Osmeña ordered the suspension of the construction work on the new CCMC after it was found out that the building has no building permits, no mechanical and electrical, and there was even no barangay clearance, as revealed by OBO head engineer Josefa Ilanan. Though she said the construction will continue as soon as the lapses will be resolved. In 2016, when Mayor Tommy Osmeña assumed as mayor, he said, quote, "If only to prevent from incurring further delays, he would rather stick it out with the current contractor tasked to finish the new Cebu City Medical Center than look for a new one," unquote. He told the reporters, even if the contractor has incurred a 23% slippage, he will not terminate the contract of CE Padilla Construction, since canceling the construction of the CCMC because of the slippage incurred will only result to more delays. But if we're going to cancel the project now and rebuild the whole thing, it will take years for it to be completed. So, we're trying to save it of what we have now, because remember, this is not a road. If there's a slippage in a road construction, you can always stop it. But this is a hospital, and there are many components there, said Osmeña. Mayor Osmeña said, and I quote, "It is hard to do public bidding in the remaining works of a hospital building, since you have to be very detailed on what works have been accomplished and what are the works that still have to be accomplished." If you look at the slide, that picture was taken when Mayor Tommy Osmeña has assumed office as mayor. The second slide was taken during one of my visits after I was designated as the Deputy Mayor for Health. In 2017, a year after my designation as the Deputy Mayor for Health, we proposed an additional budget for the CCMC construction in the amount of 300 million in preparation for the Phase 2 construction of CCMC. In 2019, the newly elected Mayor Edgardo Labella wants CCMC fast-tracked during his media interview with a Freeman. In 2020, then Cebu City Vice Mayor Michael Rama is asking the city's executive department to temporarily put on hold the bidding of the 500 million budget for the Cebu City Medical Center. Rama said he did not approve the plan of the CCMC contractor to hurriedly finish the first 3 floors of the hospital because the hospital was supposed to be a 10-story building. In 2022, after having been elected as mayor of the city of Cebu, Mike Rama has once again rekindled his deepest desire to continue the construction of CCMC. In fact, his visits outside the country has reportedly gained huge amount of commitment from Filipino private companies and a group of Chinese businessmen who pledged nearly 1 billion in funds to complete the construction of the CCMC's 8th to 10th floors. It was reported that the Cebu Medical Society would receive the pledges from the private entities. This was for the sake of transparency and to avoid issues of government officials pocketing the donations, the report said. Based from the reports, private entities that pledged to help the city complete the CCMC include Abritis Equity Ventures, Ayala Land, DM Consunhi Incorporated, Philinvest Land, Megawide Construction Corporation, Metro Pacific Investment Corporation, Robinson's Land Corporation, SBS Philippines Corporation, SM Prime Holdings Incorporated, and the Chinese and Canadian groups. Mr. Chair, setting aside politics, I have shared the same battle cry with them since health has been my advocacy from the very start of my political career. And in fact, I was part of the team who conceptualized the Piso Mo Hospital Ko slogan as a fundraising drive for the CCMC construction. The documents show that we were in support of the CCMC construction. In fact, the pictures in front of you was taken in July 2016 after the 2016 elections. The former Mayor Tommy Osmeña has continued the CCMC construction with the existing contractor who has been awarded of the project by Mayor Mike Rama in 2016. In November of 2018, a picture was taken of the CCMC building to monitor its progress. And another picture of the building was taken on April 2019. But since I am not privy to the personal or official transactions of those who have been involved in looking for funds for CCMC outside the city's coffers, however, let me get involved in trying to dissect as to what transpired in the previous transaction and the recent update of its construction and the financial status as well. Mr. Chair, Mayor Rama has terminated the contract between the city government and that of ME Sikat Construction last year on the basis that the latter had already incurred 11.72% negative slippage or delay in construction works as of October 2022. At present, what is now the status of CCMC construction? If you go to the area now, you will see some of the construction equipment attached to the building. Is there a new contractor of the hospital without the council's participation? Last November 16, City Administrator Attorney Colin Rosell said in a report that the city and the contractor had reached a gentleman's agreement to mutually terminate the contract for the hospital's construction, and that the city government was just computing how much would be paid to the contractor for the work it had done so far. Was the payment been consummated? What is then the role of the city council of its contract termination when it is this council which gave the mayor an authority to enter a contract between the city government and the ME Sikat construction. Mr. Chair, Mayor Mike, during the city's flags raising ceremony last December 18, had vowed to complete the construction of CCMC by February of 2024 at no cost to the city government, saying, quote, "We already have the money that did not come from City Hall," unquote. The mayor said, meanwhile, when asked about the contractor that would undertake the construction of the unfinished floors, Dr. Mancao said, since it would be privately funded, the city government would no longer conduct a bidding. Mr. Chair, how will the city monitor and assess its progress if there is no spelled out term of reference of its construction? If it runs not smoothly, where lies the transparency and accountability? Mr. Chair, it was reported that private companies and individuals will share almost $1 billion for the CCMC construction as a result of the fundraising campaign of the mayor, and this will be coursed through a medical society reportedly for purposes of transparency. Is this a validation that the city cannot be transparent in its transaction? Precisely, it has to pass through a private entity. Mr. Chair, even if the funds came from the private individual or companies, but the initiative came from the Cebu City government, then prudent dictates that the city will have its hand for its execution, because when the mayor had his fundraising campaign, be it there in country or in foreign lands, he did not represent himself as a private person, but as the mayor of the city of Cebu. Mr. Chair, in June 21 of this year, Acting Mayor Raymond Alvin Garcia told Cebu City's Public Information Office that he will create a task force that will oversee the completion of the CCMC in 6 months. Let me quote the acting mayor with his pronouncements. Quote, "Atong buhaton ani, gusto gyud ta nga mahuman na gyud ning atong CCMC. So mag-meeting ta every week until mahuman ni ang CCMC." End quote. Mayor Garcia said he will sign a memorandum that will create the task force CCMC that will oversee and monitor the construction of the 10-story hospital. In an interview on Saturday, June 22, 2024, City Councilor Jerry Guardo, who chairs the Infrastructure Committee, said the available funds, a total of 700 million in savings, come from the 1 billion which was awarded to the contractor ME Sikat Construction. The contract, though, was terminated in 2022 due to delays. As a result, the remaining amount was declared as savings of the city government. Honorable Guardo said the acting mayor wants to fast-track the completion of the CCMC. Again, Mr. Chair, the same battle cry, but different personalities who share the same vision for CCMC. I would like to caution Acting Mayor Garcia that the root cause of the problem of CCMC is the disregard of rules, process, preparation, implementation, and monitoring of the project. Let me assure the acting mayor of my support. Mr. Chair, however, the council has to be abreast first of the current status, inventory of work accomplished of the CCMC construction based from the calendar of activities of then Mayor Michael Rama before embarking on another transaction of 700 million so as not to complicate its implementation. If you look at the picture, you will see an equipment that is attached to the CCMC building. Is there already a contractor doing construction activities of the CCMC from the proceeds of the mayor's fundraising activity when he said, and I quote, "I vowed to complete the construction of CCMC by February 2024 at no cost of the city government," saying, "We already have the money that did not come from City Hall," end quote. Does this warrant a memorandum of agreement, understanding for accepting donations? Is there a need for a council's intervention of authorizing the mayor to engage in accepting donations? If the acting mayor will push through with his plans for CCMC using the savings in the amount of 700 million, then how do you reconcile this with a statement of Mayor Mike Rama that the city have already the money that did not come from City Hall? What will happen then to the ongoing construction of the CCMC using the money of the private companies? Would it be possible that there will be two contractors working on the same building using the same or different plans at the same time? And finally, Mr. Chair, since our very own DEPW has no expertise and experience in building a modern hospital and structure of this magnitude, why don't we get an independent third party on board, such as the Philippine Institute of Civil Engineers and the United Architects of the Philippines to assess the current state of the CCMC? Mr. Chair, since 2015, almost 2 billion has already been spent by the Cebu City government for the construction of the new CCMC. But until now, the building is not yet finished. We have to learn the lessons of the past, or have we not learned our lessons? We do things hastily, like the process of bidding, then to suspend its implementation, later on terminating, then rebidding again, and hold your breath to one and the same project, the CCMC construction. My dear colleagues, let CCMC not be Cebu City's monumental cacophony of infrastructure planning and execution. Let the CCMC construction be completed regardless of the personalities involved. Let us put things in proper order. Let us do this right now. With this, Mr. Chairman, I move to note this privileged speech.
Motion presented by Member De Los Santos, seconded by Member Archival. Motion is carried.
I have resolving clauses, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
First is to resolve to request the DEPW to submit to this council within 15 days from the receipt thereof a comprehensive accomplishment report vis-a-vis the initial construction way back in 2015 and the phases that it has undergone. So moved, Mr. Chair.
Motion presented by Member De Los Santos, seconded by Member Archival. Discussion. Objection. Hearing none, the motion is carried.
Second resolving clause, Mr. Chair, to request the Office of the City Budget Officer to provide this council a copy of the complete detailed accounting of the funds spent by the city for the CCMC construction to include the funds from the various donors.
Second.
Motion presented by Member De Los Santos, seconded by Member Archival. Discussion. Objection. Hearing none, the motion is carried.
Another resolving clause, Mr. Chair, resolve further to urge the acting mayor to reconsider his plans of using the savings of 700 million to venture into another bidding process until everything about CCMC construction will be well explained of.
Second.
As moved by Member De Los Santos and seconded by Member Archival. Discussion. Go ahead, Member Archival.
Mr. Chairman, this is a very big project. We have spent already 22 billion. And then from what we have learned from the DEPW engineers, they need something like 1.8 billion additional. And I don't understand why they have pronounced that they are going only to spend 700 million. Now, the other thing is, during these executive sessions, we asked the engineers, this is a multi-billion project, where is the plan? There is no plan, Mr. Chairman. In some of the discussions, I actually asked for the plans. There's no plan. So meaning to say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's why it is a failure right now. Now, if you're going to do this in a hastily manner, what is the basis of you bidding a 700 million where in fact there's no plan? In the first place, we have no plan. Probably the plans are not, there are plans but that are not correct. Dili sakto. Now, kung ato na sa ning i-bidding, kung sa may basis na ato sa bidding. So, that is really, I support that intention of Councilor De Los Santos. I don't know, how did you word it?
The previous resolving clause?
Yeah,
To resolve further to urge the acting mayor to reconsider his plans.
Can we not put
Of
that to put on hold? Or is that the same
would-
word?
would
Member Guardo?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. If I remember, Mr. Chair, the project was awarded during the time of incumbent Mayor Labella. The contract amounting to 1 billion was awarded to MECCAT. Then during the construction, then Mayor Mike Rama, the observations, delay in the construction. So there was an order for the termination of the contract. So upon review by the engineers from the DEPW, there's a savings of 640 to 650, not 700, Mr. Chair. So, currently right now, our CSMC, only about the ground floor, the second floor, and the portion of the third floor are operational and functional. So the unutilized amount or the savings of 650 million will cover for the completion, a portion of the third floor, completion of the fourth floor, fifth floor, sixth floor, and also a portion of the seventh floor, which is supposedly included in the plan of the 1 billion contract awarded to MECCAT, but was not completed for the construction of the contractor, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, it goes back to my question. What is the basis of awarding that 1 billion where in fact there's no plan? Unsa may itong butangan o kwarta nga 1 billion nga wa man ta kakita sa plano?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Member Pesquera.
being the chairman of the Committee on Health, Mr. Chair, I really took upon myself to secure all copies of the plans, Mr. Chair. And the engineering provided me with all the plans up to the then 10th floor, but now it will be called 11th floor. Because why it became 11th floor? Because they used to have lower ground floor and upper ground floor, and then the second floor. So the lower ground floor is now the considered first floor. The upper ground floor is the second floor, Mr. Chair. And when they had all those presented, Mr. Chair, for bidding and everything, there were plans, Mr. Chair. And supposedly, although I'm not privy to what transpired prior to that, because supposedly the program of works and estimates as well as the plans should have been approved by the City Council, Mr. Chair. And then that will be the basis for the bidding, Mr. Chair. And in fact, the documents which were the basis of the construction of the last contractor, that was the one given to me, Mr. Chair. And it's in my office, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Member Zafra.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to suggest to my fellow members in this August body to just first dispose of that resolution of Member De Los Santos. Anyway, it is just requesting the acting mayor to temporarily suspend or hold in abeyance the conduct of the bidding, no, of the said hospital. And I would like to also share my 2 cents on this, that with all due respect, no, to the comments that there are no plans and everything. Basic is the rule, Mr. Chairman, that whenever you're going to construct like for example, a building like this, the city government will definitely have to have a program of works and estimate and a plan before it will be bid out. So I suppose that Member De Los Santos' next resolution would be to request for an executive session, perhaps, so that we can be apprised by the mayor's office and the city engineer's office about all the questions that we have raised in this particular issue, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Yes, go ahead, Member
Mr. Chair,
Abeliano.
basing on what if I can recall right now, I think Mayor Rama said last November na there's already budget coming from private companies and no need for bidding na. So if magingani pa ta, doble na. So why go through this process?
Any further discussion? Objection? Can
Mr.
you
Chair,
reiterate the...
my resolving clause has not been approved yet.
Yes.
And with all the discussions here, I am Member Archival and I think Member Safra, with my resolving clause will be as amended.
Okay.
That instead of urging the acting mayor to reconsider his plans of using the savings of 700 million, is to put on hold.
On hold.
To put on hold the use of 700 million to venture into another bidding process until everything about CCMC construction will be well explained of.
Any further discussion? Objection? And as amended, the motion is carried.
And to resolve furthermore, to request the office of the mayor to study the possibility to engage with an independent third party to be on board, such as the Philippine Institute of Civil Engineers and the United Architects of the Philippines to assess the current state of CCMC.
Motion presented by Member De Los Santos, seconded by Member Safra. Discussion? Objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
You have no more?
Can I finish just my resolving clause before
Yes.
going through the discussion?
Yes.
This is my last resolve, finally, to authorize the Secretary of the Sangguniang Panglungsod to furnish copies of this privileged speech and all resolutions herein to the DEPW, Office of the City Budget Officer, Office of the Chief of Hospital, Cebu City Medical Center, Philippine Institute of Civil Engineers, United Architects of the Philippines, Cebu Medical Society, and the Office of the Mayor for their information and guidance and appropriate action. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Motion presented by Member De Los Santos, seconded by Member Safra. Discussion? Objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Yes, Member Archival.
Corollary